A very good day to you, and thank you so much for tuning in to People's Imbizo. I'm your host, Today we're coming to you from Olievenhoutbosch, and we're talking about crime in this area. I have with me a panel. Starting to my immediate right-hand side is Milton Zebe, who is a CPF chairperson here in Olievenhoutbosch. Good day, thank you so much for joining us. Next to him is Mr. Brandon Governor, the Executive Senior Support Specialist from the MMC's Office for Community Safety. Quite a mouthful there, thank you for joining us. And lastly but not least is Cedric Zela, the Councillor of Ward 106 here in Olievenhoutbosch. Good afternoon to you all, and thank you so much for joining us. Now let's just start up talking about crime in this specific area. What's your take on crime in Olievenhoutbosch? I'll start with you, Mr. Zela.
Unfortunately, relevant people to attest to what we are saying here, they are not here. But it's a ticking bomb to our society, because we have got so many instances where people are killed. People are, there are too much house breakings, and so those are issues really, and drug abuse as well, and alcohol abuse in the area. So most of these things happen most of the time during the weekends. So really it's a problem for us as the residents of Olieven.
Well, just before I get Mr. Governor's comment on this, I just want to state for the record that we did invite the South African Police Services to join us on this Imbizo and actually be here to talk to us about crime, because it's one of the main areas that they deal with in terms of maintaining a law and order in the country. And they had confirmed that they would send us a representative, but they cancelled on us at the last minute. So just for the record, we did invite the SAPS, especially someone from Olievenhoutbosch, to represent the police force today. Now, Mr. Governor, what's your take on crime in this area?
Well, personally, I'm actually a victim to crime in this area. I was mugged, or I was actually attempted carjack just up the road between Ward 77 and Ward 106. And, this area is very close to my heart, to be honest, because I'm actually a neighbor to the area. So whatever happens in this area, I'm personally affected because I'm just across the road. So crime is really an issue. But as you said, I'm very disappointed that all the stakeholders are not here today. There's certain issues that SAPS needs to deal with, and especially with the crime stats that was just released a few days ago. So I'm very disappointed that all the role players is not here. Because if we want to target or deal with the issues of crime, all the role players need to be under one umbrella, with the same vision, with the same goal to deal with crime in the area.
And Mr. Tsebe, what is your take on crime in this area?
Crime in this area is very increasing each and every day, and it is becoming worse and being dangerous to some of us, because we trying to fight, but without assistance, it is a problem. Like if you can see now, we don't have a SAPS around here. It is always their excuse. I'm sorry for saying that, but I'm working with them. Sometimes on the issues like this, it is a problem. And also, Mr. Governor said that about the stakeholders. I don't know what's happening in Olieven, but I'm just getting scared and nervous from other people that are living. They're needing help. They need those stakeholders to be around and give them a support. But on the issues like this, it is a problem in Olievenhoutbosch to fight the crime, because it seems like we don't have what you call the stakeholders when it's coming to crime. But on other stuff, we've got maybe stakeholders. But when it's coming to the crime, it is a terrible place to live in. Yeah.
Mr. Governor, are you able to give us any details regarding the attempted hijacking that you actually experienced? What happened on that day? What kind of assistance was there? What transpired?
Well, I was at, it was the corner of the R55 in Drakensberg, which is just up the road here. It was about 10 o'clock at night. Well, I normally drive with my window a little open, and the next thing I know is there's 4 armed men around the car. The gun is pointed at me, and I was instructed to open the car. I just want to thank, the Almighty that the car was not taken, but all my belongings, because I just got back from a trip from Durban, and to the value of almost 50,000 rands of the belongings was taken away from the car. I did go to the police station the next day because I was traumatized at the same time. But to be honest, SAPS was very helpful. I did go to the Olievenhoutbosch police station. They were helpful. But up to date, I have not received any feedback regarding the investigation around it.
Now, we do have a live audience. Just want to ask them if you have any questions for the panel here. Have you been a victim of crime in Olievenhoutbosch? What do you think about crime levels in Olievenhoutbosch?
My name is Benny Kaula. Thank you for an opportunity to ask to be here. The crime here at Oliven, especially ABSA, we see there's a lot of selling of drugs around here. We got SAPS, but it seems like SAPS didn't do anything regarding crime, especially when there's too many Nigerians that are here around. Then we have a problem that SAPS is not visible. It's not enough. I think we need a bigger police station that's going to represent this our Olievenhoutbosch, because there's the population here. I think the population it needs a bigger police station. Then that's my view on crime.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Priscilla Smangele Mota. I stay in Olievenhoutbosch, Ward 106 in ABSA. Really, crime is too high in Olievenhoutbosch. I think SAPS are the cause for crime to be that much. Checking on the issue of what happened on Monday, that is why our police couldn't even control those people those Nigerians who were in police station on Monday, because they work together. They know very well that the Nigerians know everything about them, because always they give them money. Last week there was a van somewhere in ABSA. I think they were busy collecting those Nigerians. I don't know what was the problem, because I was busy picking up papers somewhere there. But when that van came, it came with those Nigerians, with the other group of Nigerians came from ABSA. Others climbed off the van. Those groups come and gave them something, then they disperse. So that is why I'm saying SAPS in Olievenhoutbosch are the cause. And another issue is that of a follow-up case. Last week we had a case in Extension 15. There were no follow-ups up until the case was reported in Randburg. That is when everything was settled. They never came back for that case. I thank you.
So separation in Extension 26. Otata wamo Oliven. Crime kinchi arena police station. A reporter police station abate. 2 subs it's ever Mubarak Shauri tracks. Our baba collect a child move. And Roberto Hubidori is Renal chairperson in CPF. Pero Hubidori, who valid patrol. It can two channel one or gas for no fin a crime now. Carandalo CPF Egarra politique. I got a politique at Lagabumus having one of our two channel leon or refer crime. I would say subsidiary more Oliven. I have very good seal.
Now, just some of the issues coming up there was the issue of case follow-up. So that's actually something you've actually experienced, Mr. Governor, that there isn't quite sufficient follow-up on cases once you've opened a case. The issue of the slow response of the police services, when you call on them, they take their time to respond. There was an allegation of corruption about how some of the police office members actually know who the criminals are, but don't actually apprehend them. And just the issue of wanting a bigger police station and having more police visibility on the ground. I don't know, Mr. Zebe, there was a comment about having CPF patrollers. Do we have patrollers currently in Olievenhoutbosch? What's the response to that?
We have a list of the patrollers. Like I can say now, I don't know even now that they are already, the data is fine also for them to work. I was still also waiting because we've got 365, those that we've got. And then they were veteran, we're still waiting for the veteran. But to my side, as a CPF, with the knowledge that I know, I can't call them the patrollers until I receive a letter of the vetting from the station. But on the department, some of them, they will go on the OMC's office, they call them the patrollers. But towards the document that we've got, the constitution, it says they must be vetted clear before we can call them the patrollers. We've got those people, they're still waiting. We're waiting for the vetting so that they can start to work.
Okay, so they are available, but they haven't started patrolling yet because of the vetting process.
Because of the vetting
Perhaps
process.
Since you're from the MMC's Office for Community Safety, can you respond to the vetting process? How does it work? Is there communication between CPF and the MMC's office?
You see honestly, I cannot respond to that because it's a totally different department. That falls under the SAPS. It doesn't fall under
Community safety.
Community safety. So if we were talking about the community safety forums, then I would come in. But the community policing forum is a totally different, committee that falls under the jurisdiction of SAPS. Yeah.
And then, Mr. Tsebe, when the people have issues of crime, can they report them to you as the chairperson of the CPF, since patrollers aren't yet vetted? Have you had any cases where they report crimes to you? Do you take them to the SAPS? How do you deal with those issues currently?
Yes, they come to report the cases daily and nightly. I support them. I went to the station. Some of them will even drive around where the incident happens to make sure that the case will be opened. Even sometimes it's difficult. But and again, also our community, they went there behind your back and go and cancel the cases. That's why sometimes you find also our police, they don't work, they don't do their own duties, because we also give them that that chance to do so that they can work for us. But I do that to help the community. They come to me if they don't get the support. If I'm not around, I phone the station commander or wherever that they can help me so that they can get help.
Okay. And Mr. Tsela, can you just talk to us about the role of perhaps the councillor's office in ensuring community safety, maybe raising awareness about different campaigns, to help the community members stay safe?
Just to be honest with you, yes, councillors have got a very big role that they have to play there. And, challenge that we have around that, so that it's difficult for us to be able to discharge that responsibility. One speaker has just made mention here that, the CPF is there, but they must play their role as a CPF, not as politics, or not as a political party. I've attended numerous meetings that I was invited by the CPF, and from time to time when I was in those meetings, it was very clear that here the mandate is not what I know in regard to deal with issues of the community. So it's something else. And now, because you find that these people, they call themselves community leaders. They speak for themselves or for their own personal issues, and that itself, it makes the structure itself redundant, because that's where we should resolve problems of the community in regard to the issue of the safety of our people. So that does not happen. I attended twice, and then I stopped from attending because it didn't serve the purpose from where I was seated, that at least we have a CPF and a chairperson who can able to stand firm on issues that are affecting our people in terms of our safety. For me to be there is to form a supporting team that will assist the structure to function very well, because if you can understand that from month to month we have our own public meetings as the councillors to report about progress made in terms of issues of service delivery, including crime or safety itself from our people. So now you go to a public meeting, you report about progress in terms of issues of service delivery or challenges in regard to the issues of service delivery. And then now you find that the community are raising issues of safety, and that need possibly the chairperson of the structure or the subs themselves to be able to answer to such issues. So in the absence of that, there's nothing more that the councillor can do. What I can do best is that I will convene a public meeting. We will allow people to speak their minds, but we need relevant stakeholders to be able to deal with those challenges right there and there. So in the absence of that, we have a community, which does not have a clear understanding who's who. That's why we are facing this challenge of saying that you have so many people, you have a number, but you don't have home bodies that will be able to make sure that they are dealing with the relevant issues. I strongly support the view that is on the floor to say that we need to work together. We need to isolate ourselves from issues of politics and deal with...
Focus on the people, essentially.
Exactly.
Just
but
coming to
in
Mr. Governor.
Olievenhoutbosch, I can tell you, it's not like that. We play the man, we don't play issues.
Yeah.
We don't deal with issues.
Now, you actually mentioned something, Mr. Governor, about the fact that from the Community Safety's office of the MMC, you actually relate with the Community Safety Forum and not the CPF.
Yes.
Now, is there a Community Safety Forum that is active in Olievenhoutbosch?
All right.
And if the community members want to get involved, what is the process for them to be involved in the Community Safety Forum?
Right. So the Community Safety Forum is not ward-based, but it's regional-based. So there is one in the Pretoria, can I say, the Centurion area, where it's a cluster of wards. And then I just want to add to what the councillors is saying. The question about the Community Safety Forum will be answered. It is a joint operation. So under the Community Safety Forum, you would get SAPS that's there, you would get Metro Police that's there, you would also get the other stakeholders from the city of Swane, like your housing, your roads and transport. You'll also get provincial and national departments that also sits there. So there's a holistic approach to deals with issues of service delivery and safety in the regions. And then if it's not dealt on a regional level, then it's escalated onto a municipal level, where the MMC actually chairs that forum. And then it goes up to the MEC's office and then to national. So I'm saying the community should have a representative on that forum. Yeah.
So as a community, they can actually select somebody to represent them in the Community Safety Forum meetings. Do they elect a person? I mean, does a person get vetted? How do they know who's representing them? How often do they meet? What are those processes?
All right. I need to come back to you on that. I'm not really sure on the vetting and things like that, to be honest. But I will definitely, through your office, give you feedback on how an individual or an organization is representative on that forum. Yes.
Now, Mr. Zabi, just to respond to Mr. Zilla's comment there about the CPF not always representing the people, what can you say in response to that?
My response, it is, I represent the people of Olievenhoutbosch with all my heart, each and every day. That's the problem with us. We're coming to the wrong place or the right place. We're using our own emotion. You know what? Mr. Tiller, right? I called some of the meeting, but now when I call it because of the crime, I was alone. I started to call all the stakeholders to come and help me with the crime, because what I noticed when they call the meeting for the houses, the whole community is coming there. When we're calling the meeting for the crime, come only 20 people. And I think that it's better I call all the stakeholders so we can combine and be one thing and fight the crime. And when I remember the first thing in the meeting, I say to them, guys, your own issues of your political parties or of your stakeholders, put them aside. Let's fight the crime. And when we finish, and when you go out on this wall, go outside there and do your own things. That's what I tell them always. But it's a problem that we have in Olievenhoutbosch. And then it seems like if maybe I'm driving with Mr. Tila, somebody doesn't like Mr. Tila, and then if maybe it doesn't like him, and then I'm also maybe offended because I'm driving with Mr. Tila. No. Me, on my side, I'm somebody that I've got my own confidence. I've got respect of community, and I've got respect. First thing, I respect my family. When I want to fight crime, I start in my house to fight crime. I even say to the meeting, if you want to fight crime, start in your house. Start with your children first. And then you can go outside there and fight crime.
So charity does begin at home.
Charity does begin at home. Because your child doesn't work. He comes with the phone that costs 2,000 rand. You just look at the phone. You don't even ask him. You didn't even buy him that phone. You know, but you want to go outside there and fight the crime. No, start at home and fight the crime. To me, on the side, everybody's got the side where he's falling into. But when it's coming to the crime, I'm not having a problem with anyone. I'm working with anyone or any structure or any stakeholders according to the crime, because I'm here to fight the crime, not to stand with any stakeholders. If maybe I'm with some of them and other people, they see me, I'm not on that direction. On my side, I'm not that direction. My direction is only fighting a crime or the right.
Well, as
yes.
parents, as you've heard right there from Mr. Tsebe, if you are a parent and you actually, or if you even have relatives that you know are involved in crime, it's your responsibility to report them, not just to the CPF, but to the SAPS, and actually assist in fighting crime, because charity does begin at home. We have more questions from the floor.
What I'm seeing here, right, all the people got the right intentions, right, but the approach is wrong. They could be fighting in terms of their differences. So my problem with this situation is here, people are not putting the issues on the table and dealing with the issues that are on the table. They're dealing with other personal issues. That's the thing that I've seen for the past 3 years that I've been living here in Oliven.
Morning, my name is Christina Kovechova. I'm a traditional healer. I'm staying in Olievenhoutbosch. I just see the crime will never maybe finish yet, because we have the stalkies. I remember last week on the Marabastata, they have a stalkies. One of the women, they raped them there. So we are trying to fight for crime, but there's no powers. So those stalkies, they put the foot during the day. Later they left those stalkies, and they started staying there. Evening myself, one of the good day when I remember, I was coming to the meeting, then when I passed there, I just see four of the tortoises, and then I just scream, because we are not safe on the stalkies. And another issue, it's burning issue, like there's a child from 7 years, go to the tavern and buy beer. I'm asked, please, why? Because they said you are not going to the tavern if you are less than 18. But now, according to the money, you find the baby after 7 going to buy the beer. It's totally wrong. I was just saying, as a traditional healer, we are so concerned to be with you.
Thank you. My name is Jan Mabohwane. I'm staying in Extension 26. And then my problem, I've got several problems that I need to talk about, especially when coming this dialogue we're talking about crime. What worries me is that we got a lot of foreign-owned taverns around in this area. These foreign-owned taverns, they don't have control. Everything seems to be done like on the street. There's no control at all. They are selling drugs. And police, our subs, are the people who patrol them, not patrolling the community. Patrol those guys not to be disturbed by the community. And one other thing is that the police, some of them, they are the ones who support or deliver the drugs on those particular spots. And one other thing, we are overcrowded with foreign nationals who doesn't have papers. Even though they can commit crime, the subs come with the forensics and they take fingerprints. There's no one they can catch. And even the lootings that are happening around this area, there's nothing they can find anymore like the previous years. Maybe find that the car has been stolen at Section 26. You can find it maybe at 19. But nowadays, everything disappears. And then we don't know whom to blame. And the subs really are the one who can maybe tell us the story. What's the problem with them on Oliven to solve crime?
Now, issues of underage drinking there, unlicensed taverns, and perhaps the involvement of illegal immigrants in crime. I know that the statistics were released yesterday for the province at large, and although overall there's been about an 11-point-something% decrease in crime generally, there's been an increase in crimes committed by some illegal immigrants. Not to be xenophobic, but it's just the statistics that came out, through the SAPS report just yesterday. Do you have a comment on that?
The stats for me doesn't speak the truth all the time. I am here in Oliven. I see these things happening almost every day. Mm-hmm. And now somebody gives us the stats that are in contrary with what we see, which I don't believe. So it was good that maybe if relevant people with those that are responsible for providing us with those stats to be here so that we can able to cross-question them based on information that we have, on things that we see on daily basis. Because for me, that's just, It doesn't make sense. I don't believe it. So I'm staying here. I'm the councillor here. I witness all these things happen here. So nothing that goes well here. So we need the support of the staff, of the subs and the community at large, so that we can able to deal with these issues of crime. But other than that, unfortunately, what we are seeing in Oliven, it's a looming situation that speaks about personification of people, not resolving on issues that are affecting our people. So it's a problem. So that's what I can tell. I mean, you know, my colleague just said here that he is a victim of crime. I'm also a victim of crimes in many ways. You know, be in a form of a community mob, you know, being hijacked by criminals and all these things. So I've been in a situation. So that's why it's so difficult that, you know, I believe what this statistics
is actually saying.
Yes,
we'll actually come to that issue of mob justice shortly, but we have to take a short break right now. Do stay tuned for more.